Charlotte, thank you so much for joining us at what must be quite a difficult time for you. Just
Thanks
explain
for
a
having
little
me.
bit about your story. How long have you been in Afghanistan now, and what were you told when you left to go there?
Well, I've been coming and going here as a journalist for the last 4 years or so. I've been in country the last since the first week of January. Yeah, I mean it's a very surreal situation to be in. I fell pregnant back in August, and I was living in Qatar, where it's illegal to be pregnant and unmarried. And I was in, I guess, a really difficult position because I couldn't go back to New Zealand because the borders are shut, even for citizens. You have to play a lottery to be able to get back in. So I started playing this lottery. And in the meantime, I went to my partner's country, which is Belgium, but New Zealand citizens can only be there so long on tourist visas. And we really kind of ran out of places where we could live in for any extended period of time. And we both had work visas for Afghanistan. So we thought we'd come here until the New Zealand borders reopen, or we apply for an emergency exemption to get back into the country. And we've been denied by the New Zealand government to re-enter. They say we don't meet the threshold for needing critical medical treatment, and that we haven't proven we can't get equivalent treatment here in Afghanistan. So it's very surreal. I mean, the fact that New Zealand's borders are closed to its citizens, no less in kind of dire situations, when the country is already kind of 93% vaxxed, there's obviously a lot of questions around that and the ethics around that.
And what's it been like in Afghanistan while you've been there? Where are you staying?
I mean, we have a house here. My partner's lived here for quite a few years, also a journalist. We just kind of keep our head down. I mean, we have work visas to be here. I did talk to some Taliban contacts before we came, just to say, this is the situation. We can't get back into New Zealand. We can't be in Qatar. Will it be a problem if we come? And they said, we're happy for you. Congratulations. Which, I mean, it was a real gesture of welcoming and empathy of, we appreciate you're in a difficult situation, come here, and we wish you the best. So yes, we're waiting here. I mean, the New Zealand government, I haven't heard anything directly from them since they rejected us a week ago. I did get an email from a generic email address just this morning saying we welcome you to apply under a different category. But the fact that remains is that they told us to apply under kind of a medical critical category. And now they're saying something else, which means basically they're admitting that there is no pathway for a pregnant New Zealand woman to return to give birth. And I have so many questions about how we've got to this point, and also kind of the liability around that is, how can they justify it? What are the ethics and reasoning behind it? And especially as foreign athletes, foreign musicians. There's the Cricket World Cup is in New Zealand right now with dozens of foreign athletes. So how do they justify allowing foreign citizens in for sporting events and music events and not their own citizens in need of help?
And you've got a home in Afghanistan. You've had kind words from the Taliban. Do you feel safe there? What would happen if you couldn't get back to New Zealand, as it seems you can't at the moment, and things don't change and you have to give birth in Afghanistan?
Yeah, I mean, I've done plenty of stories over the years on the state of maternity care here, and it is dire. In October, I went to a maternity clinic. They didn't have power. They didn't have medicine. They couldn't do C-sections. They had crumpled up some paracetamol in a newspaper and said, we've got this to give to the woman, but that'll run out next month. And I mean, that's not even talking about premature care. So it is incredibly dire for the woman here. And I am really worried about, I mean, I'm 25 weeks today. I'm worried that if my child, a little girl, comes early, there really won't be many options for treatment for her, or myself for that matter, if she's premature. So we really don't want to be here after about 30 weeks. And another country has come forward, of which neither of us are a citizen for, my partner and I, saying we really feel for you, and can we explore visa options to try provide some type of stopgap for you in a place that does have medical treatment that's equivalent to New Zealand's. So we're kind of going down that path as a stopgap, and hoping in the meantime that the New Zealand government appreciates the needs of its citizens abroad.
Your plan, you'll hopefully find another country that will take you in with a good medical situation. That's literally your only option if New Zealand won't take you back.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And you know, I'm in the media. I have a lawyer. I have, I guess, resources to speak out about this. But this has been going on for 2 years, with New Zealanders forced to play a lottery to get back in, and then apply for emergency exemptions if they don't win in dangerous situations. There are thousands of New Zealanders. There's a million of us overseas, and thousands of those people, as you can imagine, over the last 2 years have had relatives die, have been diagnosed with terminal illnesses, have had visas expire, and have had to go through the same process that I'm going through now, to plead with the government, please let me back in. My mother is, in intensive care. I don't want her to die and me not be there. I've been diagnosed with cancer. Please let me come home and see my family. And having to justify and lobby your position.